Hello, my name is Janna Champagne, and I'm a cannabis nurse, founder of Integrated Holistic Care, and a champion for the Institute of Cannabinoid Medicine. Today, I'd like to talk about a subject of great personal passion: the desperate need for cannabis inclusive autism care resources. Now, you might ask yourself, how does one become passionate about such a topic? Suffice it to say, it's been a journey. My path to cannabis nursing started back in 2012 when I experienced the profound healing of the sacred plant upon suffering a health collapse and becoming a cannabis patient myself. Cannabis use helped me wean off my pharmaceutical dependence while facilitating deeper levels of healing than ever thought possible, including complete reversal of autoimmune disease. So I'm really a cannabis patient who happens to be a nurse. I progressed to begin growing cannabis in 2014, working with different strains and phenotypes, and caregiving for patient cardholders, which fed my knowledge and understanding of the sacred plant. I'm also a mom to a teen daughter with autism, and as it happens, a couple of years into my own health recovery, cannabis also eased her situation. She suffered extreme symptoms of autism puberty crisis, the severity of which risked her being placed out of home due to self injury, aggression towards others, and property damaging behaviors, primarily pain related symptoms. Thankfully, intervening with cannabis successfully eased those symptoms while also improving her speech, academic performance, quality of life, and overall function. These are my cannabis passion makers, driving my dedication to always follow cannabis patients' needs. So here's a summary of my roles in the cannabis industry in reverse order. And this is the journey of following patients' needs and the culmination of that journey. Since recovering, I've been blessed to utilize the knowledge earned through these personal experiences to help thousands of individual patients optimize their cannabis therapy outcomes. As a nurse specializing in clinical application of cannabis, with one specialty being pediatrics and autism. While I'm not currently taking new patients, my current focus is educating medical professionals on cannabis and endocannabinoid science with accredited content for nurses and my upcoming course, SCI 306, Cannabis and CBD Formulations, launching January 2021 at the Institute of Integrative Medicine and Nutrition at John Patrick University. I'm so excited to be creating next level cannabis education content in cooperation with John Patrick University and the Institute of Cannabinoid Medicine, which will cumulatively reach more patients than I ever could alone. I also provide open source cannabis patient education through my websites, cannabisnurseapproved.com, which certifies and highlights medical cannabis products, and integratedholisticCare.com, offering educational blog posts and patient handbook downloads that are free to email subscribers. Following patient needs also spawned my latest venture upon realizing the importance of medical quality, symptom targeted cannabis formulations. The custom cannabis blends from Unity Formulas at unityformulas.com are based on years of experience recommending custom cannabis recipes for my patients. Unity offers symptom targeted, gold standard medical quality products from which the sales profits benefit nonprofit Autism Safe Haven, which is coincidentally the main focus of my talk today. Autism Safe Haven is a nonprofit whose purpose is addressing the need for cannabis inclusive autism care resources, and our website is www.autismsafehaven.org. So there's the summary version of my cannabis journey, from cannabis patient to cannabis nurse educator and advocate. I've shared our detailed stories extensively in interviews, and for links or more information, please visit my Media Kit website, www.jannachampagne.com. So many of us are blessed to love someone with autism. And for those who aren't as familiar with this disorder, here's a little background. Children with autism are often less mature than their chronological age and have social, communication, and sensory impairments, and many require lifelong caregiving supports. Autism is a developmental disability characterized by underlying imbalances in the gastrointestinal, immune, and neurological systems, with rampant underlying medical disorders. These imbalances contribute to high levels of inflammation, and pain is a common symptom that often escapes proper diagnosis and treatment from the mainstream approach. You may have heard the phrase, if you know one kid with autism, you know one kid with autism. This is because autism is a spectrum disorder, meaning that there is a broad range of impact severity and each case is unique. In severe cases, individuals with autism are limited or nonverbal, and behavior becomes the primary form of communication. Common autism behaviors include aggression, self-injury, and tantrums. I wrote an article on this subject with a citation below, which also includes research outcomes supporting cannabis for promoting balance in the gastrointestinal, immune, and neurological symptoms, making it a promising option for targeting autism imbalances. Here's a brief overview of the most common benefits in those using cannabis for autism. Cannabis provides a safer and more effective alternative to harmful pharmaceuticals for managing symptoms in tens of thousands with autism in the US. It's common to see a reduction in reliance or even complete weaning from harmful pharmaceuticals, meanwhile improving quality of life and function when cannabis is added to a daily autism treatment regimen. Mounds of research exists supporting cannabis as safe and effective intervention for treating those with autism, exemplified further by tens of thousands of case studies and real patient outcomes. Inhaled or sublingual forms of cannabis are fast-acting and powerful tools for de-escalating behavior exacerbations and calming the crisis situations common in autism. Medical professionals take an oath to provide objective education to patients regarding the risk versus benefit of all possible medical options to facilitate fully informed medical decisions and patient autonomy. The safety profile of cannabis is unsurpassed, and when approached objectively, cannabis is often the first logical choice as a medical intervention to address autism behaviors. So here's some more of the science supporting cannabis for autism, with outcomes reflecting that autism is endocannabinoid deficiency. Let's stop and reflect on that statement for just a minute, because it's really important. The term endocannabinoid deficiency was coined by Dr. Ethan Russo back in 2004 to describe a condition in which our body cannot produce enough endocannabinoids or internal cannabinoids, which as it turns out are vital nutrients for mammals. So when our body struggles to make enough endocannabinoids, the resulting systemic imbalances causing dysregulation, as is found underlying autism symptoms. And it gets better. Supplementing with phytocannabinoids, or those produced by the cannabis sativa L plant, exactly mimics the function of the endocannabinoids we make internally, thus improving endocannabinoid deficiency status. So not only is cannabis great for targeting autism symptoms and easing suffering, it's also filling a vital nutrient deficiency found in autism in a safer manner with fewer side effects. And I know what you're probably thinking, like, why isn't cannabis more widely utilized for those with autism? And that's a great question. There are some considerations and possible barriers to using cannabis for autism or for pediatric patients in general. Of course, anything beyond what's needed for medical cannabis use, specifically for the intoxicating components, is never appropriate when treating children or adolescents. Luckily, this does not present a risk factor for most, although this should be assessed by a medical professional. The patient and family's state of residence is unfortunately still a potential legal issue as of now, October of 2020. The MORE Act is currently pending, potentially alleviating the current trend of cannabis refugee autism families that have to move to a legal state in order to access legal medical cannabis for their child with autism. Concurrent use of pharmaceuticals is an often neglected consideration and once again warrants medical oversight. Genetic factors such as AKT1, which is the only known contraindication to THC due to schizophrenia risk, should also be assessed in children prior to THC use. Methylation genetic mutations, also common to autism, can be optimized through nutrigenomics, which may reduce the risk of neurodevelopmental issues with THC use in childhood and adolescence. So once again, it takes a medical professional to weigh the risk versus benefit of cannabis in these cases. Specialization in these medical cannabis approaches to autism is an integral part of the Autism Safe Haven model, although there are important synergistic aspects as well. So Autism Safe Haven is the solution to the lack of dignified living options for those with autism, which often leaves parents to fill the caregiver role for longer than they may feel capable. It's common for autism parents to express fear of dying before their child, knowing the nightmare of current options available to provide lifelong autism care and support. The few decent programs that are available often have years-long wait lists, while offering little to no focus on residents' quality of life or on promoting optimized function. Explains why so many autism parents are driving the solutions to this growing problem. We are passion-driven. Care that facilitates cannabis access is another big issue. You see, cannabis-inclusive autism care doesn't currently exist. Even in Oregon, where cannabis flows really freely, the best case scenario is a residential care home that still requires parents to be on call to supplement their child's cannabis needs when needed. That's not true respite. This does not support patient autonomy either, which is the choice of the cannabis patient to choose and make their own medical decisions about what to utilize. And this is a foundational aspect of our current medical system. So this needs to be translated to our autism world as well. Thankfully, nurses in Oregon, the location of our first Autism Safe Haven home, can legally administer cannabis medicine, and autism and its symptoms easily meet our OMMP qualifying criteria for legal medical cannabis access. Some other complicating factors include this autism prevalence that is continuing to rise unabated in the United States and has already increased from 1 in 10,000 back in the 1970s to 1 in 59 as of 2014. And that's school-age children that are age 5 and above. So that's actually a 2019 statistic. Stephanie Seneff, PhD, is a renowned MIT scientist and autism researcher, and she predicts that autism will impact 1 in 2 live births by the year 2025. And that's 5 years from now in 2020. Considering how 2020 has gone so far, I'm betting we're right on target for that increase. So this problem continues growing, and we will need a better solution for those with autism. In addition, it's estimated that 50% of children with autism suffer a behavioral crisis with puberty onset, which is a common catalyst for resulting out-of-home placement due to safety concerns, as we lived through. Unfortunately, the current models for autism behavior management primarily utilize physical restraints and pharmaceuticals, combined with minimal caregiver training, the result being multiple home failures and even physical harm to residents. These subpar approaches jeopardize quality of life, function, and ability to optimize potential in those with autism. We can do so much better, and Autism Safe Haven is a solution. I hope I've exemplified the desperate need for improving autism care approaches with cannabis-inclusive options, focus on competent behavior management, and functional optimization. The Autism Safe Haven approach is based on this very combination of targeted autism therapies, which sets us apart from the other options. We believe behavior is communication, and I can't even tell you how often treating a preverbal child or even adult with autism for inflammation and pain mellows out their behaviors and reduces the likelihood of even more traumatic needs like out-of-home placement and being removed from their family and their family home. So this is a compassionate care model, and the Autism Safe Haven approach is a viable solution to test, research, and duplicate this model in every legal cannabis state. The inspiration for this project is my daughter, Geneva, a teen girl with autism expected to require lifelong and intensive caregiving supports. So in this case, necessity truly was the mother of invention. I chose a unique path for treating my daughter as referenced today, including cannabis and other natural alternatives to pharmaceuticals, with heavy focus on her quality of life and optimizing function, and use of other researched autism supports like ABA therapy. Having been disillusioned by the subpar options available to care for my daughter, I understand firsthand the desperate need for improved autism care and supports. I unwittingly became a prominent advocate for autism families after my daughter's cannabis and autism success story published on the cover of a nationwide magazine in 2017. And you can read this on my website, www.integratedholisticcare.com/news is the link for that story. This is a sketch of my home of 17 years in Medford, Oregon, which has had significant remodeling to repair it following my daughter's autism puberty crisis. This home provides a safe and supportive, behavior resilient environment, which we will open and share with autism patients in need. It boasts high security measures like a 6-foot fence surrounding the property, tempered glass unbreakable windows, behavior proof walls that are literally 1/4-inch plywood with beadboard over the top, and other disability safety features, all without compromising its appearance as a home versus a commercial facility, which was also very important to us. Remodeling to convert to a residential care home is nearly complete, and we're back on track following some 2020 related delays. Support for this program has already launched potential initiatives in California, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Washington, with potential to duplicate this model in all legal cannabis states seeking answers for their resident cannabis patients with autism. We are also planning phase 2, which is an all-inclusive community model, boasting self-sufficiency and job training options as additions to the home model. Our goal is to help those with autism feel and function better than ever expected. We can do so much better for those with autism and their families. Please visit our website, www.autismsafehaven.com, for more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to our cause. From all of us that love someone with autism, thank you for considering support of this important project.